All right, today we're jumping into a really cool story. It's all about what happens when unbelievable power is just hidden in plain sight. And it gets you thinking, what really makes someone worthy? I mean, think about that for a second, right? What if someone with godlike powers was just living among us, totally under the radar? It sounds like a what-if scenario, but nope, that's exactly what this story is all about.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our main guy is named Qin Chang'an, and believe me, this dude is the definition of a man with a secret.
And this really shows you the crazy contrast in his life. To everyone else, he's just some ordinary guy. That's the mask he wears. But the reality? Oh man, he's secretly the founder of this huge company, the Global Dragon King Group, and he's a healer with skills that are basically magic. So you've got to ask, why hide all that? I mean, with that much power? Well, it's not just that he's sick of all the greed and phoniness out there. It's deeper. He's making a statement, really. He's rejecting this whole idea that your bank account or your title is what makes you important. For him, living a simple life is about being real, not putting on a show. But you know how it goes. You can't stay hidden forever. Life always finds a way to drag you back into the mix. And for Qin, that moment comes when a family in crisis needs a miracle. So, you've got the Su family, right? They're a big deal in the city, super powerful. But they're living through an absolute nightmare. The daughter, the heiress, Su Binling, has this mysterious sickness. They've thrown everything at it. Top doctors from all over the world, the best medical tech, and nothing. It's not working. The whole family is just falling apart. But in the middle of all that hopelessness, there's one person who just refuses to give up. That's Su Suijiao, the younger sister. She's just so devoted and selfless, and it's that purity, that genuine love for her sister that gets Qin's attention.
And when he sees how sincere she is, it's the total opposite of the greedy world he's been hiding from. He makes a promise to himself. He decides he's going to help, not for money, not for fame, but just because he's moved by her compassion.
Okay, so deciding to help is one thing, but actually doing it, that means stepping back into the spotlight. And that puts him right in the path of all these established, kind of arrogant doctors. And yeah, they react exactly like you'd think they would. These experts look at him and they don't see some miracle worker. They just see a regular Joe, maybe even someone who's a little nuts. They're literally laughing at him, totally writing him off. But what's so great is how he handles it. He doesn't get into a big argument, he doesn't puff out his chest, he just gets to work. He's calm, he observes, and he uses these techniques that look almost simple. And then it starts to happen. You see a little improvement, and then a little more, until, bam, a full recovery. And just like that, all the laughing in the room just stops. Dead silence. He just pulled off a miracle, right? Right there in front of everyone. And there's no arguing with it, right? The proof is standing right there, perfectly healthy. So the father, Su Anson, is just blown away with gratitude. Completely overwhelmed. He makes Qin an offer that is just insane. Half of his entire fortune, and he can marry his daughter. Talk about the ultimate reward, right? And Qin just turns it down. Flat out. See, for him, this was never about making a deal or getting paid. This moment tells you everything you need to know about him. It's not just him being humble. He's sticking to his beliefs. He stepped in to help another human being, not to get sucked back into that world of money and power he worked so hard to leave behind. So you'd think, great, story's over, the heroes saved the day, but not so fast. Because while all this is happening, there's a huge storm brewing in his personal life. And this is a totally different kind of test. So his fiancée, Julie, finds out a little bit about his secret life. But where you or I might see humility or someone with principles, she just sees lies. She feels like he deceived her. To her, his whole ordinary guy thing wasn't a choice, it was a fraud. And just like that, she calls off the engagement. And this really just breaks it down perfectly, doesn't it? It shows how what we value completely changes how we see other people. Julie was all about appearances and success, so she saw a weak, ordinary guy. But Su Shejiao, she values character, so she saw a hero. It makes sense that they ended up making completely different choices. They were looking at the world through different eyes. And this is the kicker. This is the part that's just so ironic it hurts. The guy she dumps him for, this Wang Shuai,
His entire career, all his success, was basically built by Qin, who was secretly helping him out the whole time. So she left the real deal for a cheap copy that he created.
But you know what? This betrayal, as awful as it is, doesn't crush him. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. It sets him free. It clears the way for something new, something more real.
And this is what's going through his head. He's not angry or bitter. He just gets it. He understands that if someone is only looking at the surface, they're never ever going to see what's really there underneath.
So yeah, he lost a fiancée, but she never really saw him for who he was anyway. But in the process, he gained the respect of someone who did. For Su Shoujiao, seeing him perform that miracle and then turn down all that money, that showed her who he really was. Not just some ordinary man, but someone truly extraordinary.
So this whole mess, it wasn't the end of his story. Not even close. It was more like a clearing of the decks, getting rid of all the fake stuff from his past to make room for a future where people might finally see the real him. Which really brings us back to that big question at the heart of this whole thing. What actually defines a person's worth? Is it all the stuff you can show off, the money, the status? Or is it something deeper, like your character, your compassion, the strength you have on the inside? It definitely gives you something to think about.